let me first thank the organizers for bringing us here today to discuss a very important issue. And we are coming from a very upbeat series of conversations in Africa. I would like first to recognize the Nairobi Africa Climate Summit and the Nairobi Declaration, because it really repositioned a little bit the conversations on climate change, of course, from one where we were focusing most of our effort and attention into asking, quite rightly so, for climate justice, to one now where we are equally saying that Africa can be a globally important hub for climate solutions and investment. So this is important, and this is what should underpin our conversations today. The second, I mean, just in line with what you've and everyone had said before, for this we need an institutional landscape that promotes greater collaboration between or among the different entities that are key to accelerate implementation of the Agenda 2030 and 2063. This is, of course, about SDG 17. And the simple fact that we have here 4 very important institutions working together to publish this is a cause for celebration. The African Union Commission, which has leadership over all of these processes, and institutions like the African Development Bank, which is its financing means, ECA, UNDP, with its footprints both at the regional and the country level. We need to strengthen those institutional platforms and bring other actors together. We are very happy that the multilateral development banks, other African multilateral development banks are stepping in here to de-risk investments on the continent. Because if in Nairobi we are saying that we can become a globally economic powerhouse or powerhouse overall, then we need to de-risk investments on the continent. And those institutions, including Afrexim Bank, African Finance Corporation, BADEA, and so on, need to step in to make Africa indeed a global competitive investment destination. I will come back to that, to your question, Raymond. But one of my favorite quotes is from Otto Scharmer, and some of you might have heard me before referring to this, and it reads as follows: "The power of attention is the real superpower of our age. Attention aligned with intention can make mountains move." And we certainly need to make mountains move now if we want to rescue the SDGs and, of course, accelerate the implementation of Agenda 2063. So there are 2 important things here. One is intention, the other one is attention. Intention, we all have it, Agenda 2063, Agenda 2030, the forthcoming second 10-year implementation of Agenda 2063, the Nairobi Declaration, the statements coming out of the Africa Climate Summit here today. Everyone, of course, is calling for greater directionality in terms of mobilizing financing, aligning all of our resources together to achieve this. But there is a problem in the attention, the detailed bringing of all of these things together for us to achieve the change that we want. It's not because of lack of blueprints such as the Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2063 that development is not happening. It's because we are not connecting the dots accordingly from A to Z. So this is a very important message that we need to really embrace as we move forward. We are talking, of course, one framework, 2 agendas. We are talking about vertical and horizontal integration. Those were the messages from our principles. The chairperson of the deputy chairperson of the African Union Commission, and of course, the Deputy Secretary General of the African Union, so of the United Nations. So this is important. Bringing all of the collective analytics that we have from the work that UNDP is doing, has released a report on the counter insights. The insights reports provide a pathway on how we can rescue the SDGs to some of the things that we are doing as ECA and the United Nations in general, and as well as, of course, the forthcoming 2-year implementation plan for Agenda 2063. We need to interrogate that and ask a couple of questions about how can we go take this thing forward? How can we change things on the ground, the vertical integration, mobilizing the efforts and the resources that are available in our UN counter teams to support implementation on the ground. Now, this, of course, requires that data and require monitoring and require tracking. We have, for example, at our level, the integrating report tool, the IPRT, integrating planning and reporting tool that enables us to track progress both of Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2063 simultaneously, releasing our member states from the burden of having to produce 2 or 3 reports. And now, I mean, after the Doha Plan of Action, we are equally adjusting that tool, the IPRD, with a view to tracking the level of implementation of the Doha Plan of Action. That's important, because if we don't have data, if we we don't know where we are, we don't know how to target our investments. We don't know which particular SDGs require further attention. And the analytics here also play an important role. What kind of tools can we use better to understand where to target our action? For example, utilizing spatial planning analysis for now to know where the poor are, where are the areas, where the countries on the continent where we have the greatest potential to accelerate, for example, our work on the development of carbon credit markets. Here we have the Congo Basin, that is one of the areas which can enable Africa to generate about $82 billion a year if we can secure a price of $120 per ton of CO2 sequestrated. So that is the detail. That is the attention that I was referring to. Identifying, bringing together information for our national CFTA strategies with some of the work that UNCTAD is doing on assessing the product capabilities gaps, meaning what is it that is impeding our countries from going up in the value chain. The figures that Bart shared with us today about the sector composition of our exports reveal that we are at the bottom of the value chains. So we need to interrogate what is it that is contributing for us not to be able to break that particular vicious cycle. And some of it may be because our education and our TVET systems are not aligned with what the market needs. That is a tool that you can utilize. For example, the ILO has these skills for trade and economic diversification that can enable us to interrogate those kinds of things. We have other tools like the GIS-enabled hotspot analysis that enable us to know where should our infrastructure investments be located so that we don't have roads to nowhere. So this is what, indeed, are a couple of the instruments that we need to bring together as part of creating this ecosystem again for transformational change and leadership on the continent, with the African Union as an overall lead, with institutions like UNDP, African Development Bank, ourselves, and the private sector to come in together here with the view to making sure that indeed we can rescue the SDGs, we can accelerate implementation of Agenda 2063 on the continent. Thank you.